Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to start a convenience store business in the UK. Let's get started. First, you have to understand what you're getting into. The UK convenience store sector is a huge market, valued at over £55.90 billion, with more than 50,000 stores operating across the country. But that headline number includes massive corporate chains like Tesco Express and Sainsbury's Local, which skew the average. For you as an independent owner, the reality is different. The average independent store generates a yearly profit of around £73,600. But remember, that's before you pay yourself a salary for what will undoubtedly be 70 to 80-hour work weeks. So, the first key insight is to look past the industry averages and focus on the numbers for a typical independent corner shop. Let's talk about the most critical part of the entire process, the real startup costs. This is the stage where most aspiring shop owners fail because they chronically underestimate what's required. You essentially have two main paths, and your choice will define your initial financial hurdle. Your first option is to buy an existing leasehold business. This is often the recommended route for beginners because you're acquiring a going concern with an existing customer base, staff and supplier relationships. You're buying the goodwill. Prices here vary dramatically based on two things: location and weekly turnover. You can find stores listed for sale from around £25,000 all the way up to £130,000 or more. For example, a store in Kent with a reported weekly turnover of £5,500 was recently sold for £55,000. A licensed store in Hartlepool with a strong annual turnover was listed for nearly £130,000. If you want to own the building itself, freehold, the price jumps into the hundreds of thousands. When evaluating these, you must scrutinize the financial records and understand exactly what you're paying for. Your second option is to start a store completely from scratch in a new unit. This gives you a blank canvas, but comes with higher upfront costs and more risk. You need to build a comprehensive budget. First, there's the annual lease cost, which can range from £20,000 to £30,000 or much higher, depending on whether you're in a small town or a busy London borough. Then you have refurbishment costs to make the space fit for retail, which can be anywhere from a few £1,000s to tens of thousands if major work is needed. You need to budget for fixtures and fittings, shelving, refrigeration units, counters. Your initial stock purchase is a massive line item. You need to fill those shelves, and a realistic minimum is £15,000 to £30,000. You'll need a modern point-of-sale ePOS system, which can cost £1,000 to £3,000. Security systems and CCTV are non-negotiable and will cost another £500 to £2,000. But here are the costs that people most commonly forget, the hidden costs that can sink you. Professional fees for solicitors to review your lease and accountants to set up your business properly will be £1,500 to £3,000. Business insurance, which includes property, public liability, and employer's liability, will cost at least £1,000 to £2,000 per year. Most critically, you must have a contingency fund and working capital. You need money to survive the first 3 to 6 months while you build up trade. Your rent, utilities, and supplier bills don't stop because sales are slow. A minimum of £10,000 set aside purely for this purpose is essential. So, in total, starting a store from scratch requires a very realistic budget of £70,000 to £120,000. Trying to do it for less often means you're undercapitalized, which is the fastest path to business failure. Before you can sell your first item, you have a checklist of UK-specific licenses and legal requirements to complete. This is bureaucratic but mandatory. First, you must register your food business with your local council. This is free, but you must do it at least 28 days before you plan to open. After you open, an environmental health officer will visit to give you a food hygiene rating from 0 to 5. You need to aim for a 4 or 5, as a low rating is publicly displayed and will destroy your reputation. If you plan to sell alcohol, which is a major profit center, you need a premises license. The one-time application fee is based on your rateable value and ranges from £100 to £635. There is also an annual fee to maintain the license, from £70 to £350. To qualify, you must have a designated premises supervisor, DPS, who must hold a personal license. Getting a personal license costs about £37, plus a one-day training course, which is around £100 to £150. You must also register as a tobacco retailer with the UK's tobacco track and trace system. It's illegal to sell tobacco without this registration. A useful tip for any new retailer is to apply for a national lottery terminal. While it only pays 5% commission, it drives consistent footfall. Here is a massive legal advantage for small stores that few people know. If your shop's sales floor is under 3,000 square feet, about 280 square meters, you are completely exempt from Sunday trading laws. This means you can open any hours you want on a Sunday, and even on Christmas Day and Easter Sunday. This is a huge competitive edge over the large supermarkets, which are restricted to 6 hours on Sundays. The next decision is arguably the most important one you'll make: changing your location. A great shop in a bad location will fail. A mediocre shop in a fantastic location can thrive. You need to become a detective. Prime locations are areas with high natural footfall, near schools, transport hubs like bus stops or train stations, in dense residential areas with little competition, or near office parks. You must spend days in the area at different times: morning, afternoon, evening, literally counting how many people walk past. Talk to other local business owners. Check with the council for any planned developments. A new housing estate is a golden opportunity, while a planning application for a new supermarket is a major red flag. For most first-time owners, I strongly advise joining a UK symbol group. These are partnerships like Premier owned by Booker Tesco, NISA owned by Co-op, or SPAR. You remain an independent business owner, but you get the benefits of a larger organization. The primary benefit is collective buying power. You get access to wholesale prices that a lone independent simply cannot match. You also get brand recognition. Customers know and trust these names. You receive marketing support, promotional materials, and often a dedicated business development manager for advice. Many groups now also offer integration with delivery apps like Uber Eats and Deliveroo. The downside is that you may have contractual obligations to source a percentage of your stock from them and meet minimum order values. However, for a beginner, the support in buying power typically far outweigh these restrictions. Data shows that symbol group stores often achieve better margins than completely independent ones. To run a profitable business, you must understand profit margins and your product mix. The average net profit margin for a UK convenience store is just 4.3%. Your job is to strategically balance your shelves. You need low-margin footfall drivers that get people in the door. These are items like milk, bread, newspapers, and tobacco. You may make very little on these, but they create the customer traffic. Once they're in, you need high-margined impulse purchases to actually make your money. Your highest margin categories, 25 to 50% or more, are typically food-to-go sandwiches, meal deals, hot drinks, coffee, greeting cards, vapes and e-liquids, confectionery, and chilled soft drinks. Medium margin categories, 15 to 25%, include alcohol, fresh produce, and dairy. Finally, let's talk about the day-to-day operations and staffing. To be competitive, you'll likely need to be open long hours, perhaps from 6 or 7 in the morning until 10 or 11 at night, 7 days a week. That's over 100 hours a week. You cannot sustain this alone without burning out. Therefore, you will need to hire staff. As of now, The national minimum wage for anyone 21 over is £11.44 per hour. This is a significant and rising cost. A smart tip is to pay slightly above minimum wage if you can. It reduces staff turnover, which is expensive and disruptive. Loyal, well-treated staff are also less likely to make mistakes or be tempted by theft. You must invest in security. Shrinkage, theft by customers or staff, plus damage and waste, typically costs retailers 1 to 2% of their annual turnover. For a store turning over £300,000, that's £3,000 to £6,000 lost straight off your bottom line. A good CCTV system, visible counter layouts, and security tabs on high-value items are essential business expenses, not optional extras. Now before you go, I want to share something personal. When I first looked into starting a convenience store, I realized most people don't talk about the downsides of this business, such as needing £70,000 to £120,000 in cash just to open the doors, being physically chained to the shop 100+ hours a week, dealing with constant staff management headaches and theft, surviving on razor-thin 4% profit margins that can be wiped out by one energy price hike, and the immense, unrelenting stress of being responsible for a physical location every single day of the year. Recently, I discovered a much smarter way to make money, and the best part? Even beginners can do it from the comfort of their own homes. It doesn't require inventory, staff, physical locations, bank loans, or years of experience, and you can get started on the side even if you already have a full-time job. It's much more beginner-friendly and scalable than running a convenience store, especially if your goal is income first, not headaches. I would say at least 99% of the general population still doesn't know about this unique business model, so you're still early. Click the link in the description and watch the free video to learn more.